Jay-Z. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. How goes it, everybody? We're here with the crew, PD and Cal, my fellow Cowboys. Yo, we're talking about, say what's up, guys.
What up?
We're talking about that Netflix hit, The Harder They Fall, a Jeymes Samuel film, of course, led by our boy Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, of course, Zazie Beetz. We got to put that in there. It's just one of the best westerns that we've seen in a while. Yeah, let's take a look at we are coming out here. It's a version of the black exploitation, but with the Cowboys. So hey, I'm here with my boys. Let's talk.
So let it roll. Let's watch the trailer. And then we'll get into the opening.
Please. Roof is Buck.
Man, old devil, this gonna be Buck's last day amongst the living.
What exactly he do to you? Call it a professional robbery.
I know who you are. That love. Outlaw hunts down those who trespass against him with no mercy.
Where is it?
Where is who?
Your boss,
My boss. Clearly, you don't know me.
I heard Rufus Buck was back.
this ain't no road to ask a friend to travel.
You think Destiny's coming to you? A new day is dawning.
Shit up.
Pieces on the head of an angel. Sins on the father, don't neglect about the angel. Faithful to the end. Bullets with your names drew. Crack back, aim, shoot.
I don't particularly enjoy violence. That being said, you are currently in company of extremely violent individuals.
Jump, motherfucker.
This ain't gonna end well for you.
Really?
Right, as you hear, the song is popping. That's by Jay-Z and Sis Beetz. This basically takes us to Western, where they get an ensemble cast of famous African American Western figures, and they go after Rufus Buck and his gang. Basically to stop them. Rufus Buck's gang is one of an evil gang that's done horrible things throughout time. Of course, Rufus Buck is played by that charismatic actor that we've all learned to come to love, Idris Elba. And what happens with the main character, not Love, who I can't reveal some secrets within this story right now because I know P's gonna probably reprimand me. Seriously.
No, we're doing a review. We weren't doing this is a trailer review. This is a regular review. We're just gonna give everyone a reminder. We watched the trailer. Keep going with the show. We got to get through this.
And of course, this is the a stylized Western from Jeymes Samuel. I'm putting up his name. He's from England, so he's having his point of view about what he thinks about, Westerns and how he's able to bring a cast of top-notch current African-American talent. Because the music is very interlaced in this show. And he's done basically a pretty interesting job, This show was on Netflix #1 for like over 2 weeks. It's been in the top 10 since it's been premiered. So, hey, one thing that tells you, black people were also cowboys. But hey, I'm passing it on to my boys. What was your take on this film? I think we started last time with Cal, or was it PD? But we'll probably go back to Cal, but I'm not sure. So whoever wants to jump in, put their hands up and let's go.
Let me first say something. It's this is definitely a Hollywood movie. This is them basically. I mean, on the other side, most of the time Hollywood try to put everything into one thing, and they don't care about history. Just try to get it all in. And some would say that might be screwing the pooch, but they try to get their money's worth. Got a lot of names, got a lot of action. Didn't spend too much on the sets because the sets seem like it's the old school sets from way back in the day, and I can't forgive them for the all-white town. That I can't forgive them for that. But
Oh,
other,
visually stunning, visually stunning, visually
no,
stunning.
it's too. That's too much. White people, white town. Come on. All right. So in the
Like a different
pastel, to
world.
comparison to the pastel town and then the regular town, like come on, they didn't have no money for the
No,
sets. They just
it's a
used the
connection.
basic backdrops that people walk through in the Hollywood tours. Come on. All right. So ultimately, it's action packed. But then when you start going, you're like, wow. You start going through the history, you're like, what is this? And was it Zazie Beats? That's the one that's a bridge too far. So there's some issue. Yeah, I mainly the locales. Then when you read in some characters that got killed, didn't actually die, that sort of thing. So they just try to pull out all the stops, and I think it's kind of disservice to these characters when they could have. I mean, it's like, hey, we got to get this black thing in there. We know they're not going to give us a series, so pull out all the stops in one movie. Everybody dies if we have to. Except
No,
Regina King. We can't kill her.
no. Totally off, totally off. Yo, Cal, what's your take on this movie?
You asked for it.
Yeah, well, P, you definitely coming out guns blazing. So I'm bringing out my Remington.
Cal is your Remington? All right, let's see what he got. Let's see what happens. If he helps or saves or puts that gun on your head.
You got to be kidding me. This is a contemptuous piece, to say the least.
Wow.
I mean, and again, it shows everything that's wrong when you start making films, and the drive behind them is, look, we just got to get this stuff out here because of the milieu of the milieu right now, and black people are hot, so let's just put a whole bunch of them in a movie, put a little money behind it, put some soundtrack, and everything will come over. It said, did you want to make a Western or not? One of the things that really took me out was the soundtrack. I'm listening to this, and it literally they've got reggae music playing, and I'm like, why the hell? I said, you guys didn't want to do a soundtrack. You didn't have a story. And then worst of all, you're using these aren't characters. No, I understand what you were saying, Petey. But these are historical people. They lived. And they had stories of their own that you could have incorporated into this, especially Nat Love, Deadwood Dick. Okay, this guy had some really great adventures. He wrote his own autobiography. Did you decide to take any of that and put it here and say, hey, learn more about this living person? No, you throw all these cats in, you threw all of these cats in here and in this mishmash, and then have the nerve to kill off Bill Pickett. And like, that's not unfortunately, the world we live in is that people will think, oh yeah, that's how Bill Pickett died. He died in some shootout with Nat Buck, and Deadwood Dick Nat Love was really his brother. And so I'm like, this is horrible, just horrible. Even to the costuming. Everything looks so fresh and clean, like they just bought it off the rack. And these are supposed to be hard traveling heroes, cowboys. They didn't have a speck of dirt on them. They look so clean at the end of the day. It was too pristine. I mean, it was just bad, And then this is supposedly under the auspices of, we're supposed to enjoy this because I don't know why, other than the fact that we got black people as cowboys. That's the only reason why I guess we were supposed to enjoy this. From start to finish, misguided, a mistake, and contemptuous of the historical people that they used in this story. They're all turning over in their grave.
Okay, first of all,
well, only say one comment. I was okay with the reggae music. I think can work for westerns. It's not for the period, but it was fun. It was fun seeing it in there. That's all I got to add.
Because one of the biggest proponents of westerns, and when we were growing up in the neighborhood, or the West Indians. What would they call their gangs? What did they call their gangs? Do you remember, Calvin? Posse.
No, I didn't hang out with gangs.
Oh God.
They call it posses.
So
growing up.
Wait. What did you like about it? Let's get, before you counter both of us. Let's just let you have the floor and say how much you enjoyed it.
Okay, so here, one of the problems I have with people is they figure that, hey, once you have an African American director, he has to uplift the entire race, and everything he has to do has to be historically correct. The question is this was made as a movie and it's entertaining. It says that this is a story, right? But it's about the historical characters, but this is a story. This is not it's supposed to be, it's a work of fiction. That's what's supposed to happen. So let's treat it like that. I mean, we know there was no Zorro. That's a work of fiction, but it may have been based off of real life characters. We know the whole thing with
no, you can't do that. You can't do that. What I'm trying to say is a work of fiction from start to finish. These are historical. These are historical figures.
Let him finish. Finish your point, and then
you want to make them put them on a higher level than a regular Hollywood director. This is just an entertaining film. They did use the name of famous characters, and the question is, did you enjoy the story as it was? Was it entertaining? Was it fun? Was the music was good? Hey, you know who Jeymes Samuel is? That's Seal's Broham. Okay. Excuse me, his brother. All right. So just so you know, so the musical influence goes into that. He connects with. He gets a lot of people who read the script, very talented people, not because they're black. They liked the script and got involved in this stuff. And I think in the fact that Netflix shows a lot of people like the show is something there. I can't understand why you call it so contemptuous and disregard just because you want them to give you the exact history. If you want the exact history, go to the History Channel and find what's going on with those characters. Yes,
all right.
Don't look like
I was trying to play nice up until this point.
Nice,
okay.
Nice. Calling something just dissing the show. Not right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I was trying to be nice up until this point. All right.
Kid gloves are off. Nice if it hits you. It does. You wouldn't know. Nice.
Wait. Now you're going too far. Like the thing of it is like you can't. He had a strong point. Is like saying this the add in this story element where we're looking at it and saying they're real people. They must be brothers, or else they wouldn't add this to the story. And it's a bad plot. And then you're saying, well, maybe that's in real life. Was it true? And that's why he had to kill him. That's why this all happened. That's when you use the real people name. It's harder to not go to the real story. Then you find like there's no connection to these guys.
But we have that a lot of things in other stories. I mean, look, this show has got the critics loved it. It has a 93% audience.
They had no choice.
The audience had no choice. The audience
they have no.
How did they fall from tomato? Come on, give me a break, guys. You guys.
No.
You want to come in and then you want
Did you know that Bill Pickett? Did you know that Bill Pickett is one of the few black people to actually be in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame? And you're telling me his actual story is not good enough to be dramatized?
I'm saying do that if you want to do it. There's stories.
That's not directed. That's not directed at you. That's not directed at you. That's directed at whoever was misguided enough to think that this story should supersede the actual story of these living people. You have too many. Oh no! I let you speak. You have too many guys who come over here and talk about, we need to learn the history. Okay, or they want to hide this and they want to hide that. Okay, great. You get black people behind a project, and what do? They hide the history. They decide that we're going to concoct something out of whole cloth rather than tell these people's genuine story. So they're a bunch of hypocrites at the end of the day. You have a guy who is in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. Okay, he accomplished things legitimately. He has a great story. The same thing with Nat Love, and that got chucked to the wayside for this. And it's not even good. Come on.
Yeah, but you see, once again, you're trying to put on one guy, or the people who are doing this, what you think should be the story. And I agree, it's a great story. Bass Reeves, fantastic character as a marshal, law enforcement. First, I can't guarantee he's the first one, but definitely one of the first ones, if not the first one. Hundreds of captures and stuff. He was
saying that all of them can just be their own story.
Exactly, but this is a different story. This is our man Jeymes Samuel's interpretation from England, Seal's brother, of what he think a Western is, and then he sold it to a whole bunch of people. And guess what? A lot of people saw this thing and liked it. I think, yes, if you want to do a historical drama, I think you're right. There's enough characters. One thing we all agree on is that they have African Americans. At least in the United States, the people have always downgraded. There are no black people in the Westerns. For the love of God, there's tons of black people in the Westerns. There are tons of shows. We have Posse that came out. They tried to bring that up. I remember the same questions started coming about, hey, Posse, this isn't real. But you're like, what are you talking about? Blacks were in the West also. They were prominent in certain areas. All I'm saying is, that we have to be able to do all kinds of stories. You can do the documentary style form. You can also do a fiction. This is just fiction where they bring different people together and say, hey, that's it. I'm fascinated. I know the history just as well as you are. All right. But okay, they don't even look like them. I agree with that too. But come on, this is
Boy,
just a
boy,
story.
did some of them not look like them.
Okay, let's not start there. A size 12 with both your names on it. A right foot and a left foot. So don't start there.
It's valid though. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, the thing is like this. I don't. This is what Hollywood does. Hollywood is the thing of taking the story and then just turning it inside out, flipping it, doing whatever they want to do for drama, right? That's what you're doing. But this is more like, hey, not only will we have this all-star cast, you'll get to be a cool character in this in history, and that's how we'll get it all in there. Even though, like some of these people, well, in history you don't die. Well, in this one you die. So, but you have a cool death, and then this girl will take on your mantle afterward, be as fast as you. I don't know about that. Oh no, this is what we're doing, or you can go. So I don't know. It's like, once you start seeing some of the real pictures and stuff, and you're like, well, okay,
Or you start reading some of the real story.
well, there's that. I'm just saying, like, it's just when you start that sort of thing, you just want to ask. Once you find those questions like that, like why would you do stuff like this? And that's the problem with the, it's also a lot of people. I mean, it's good that some of the audience aren't, they're not fooled, but they're enjoying it, and they're saying, hey, this is the real story. But we can't count on all the people doing that. I'm just saying, hey, I'm enjoying it for what it was, and here's the real story. I think was it Dane Calloway has a long piece where they have a couple of people talking about the real story of the real character. Where they say, hey, I enjoyed this, and here's the real story of these characters. Most of the time, it's not going to be that type of people. And then at the same time, the hard part for me is there is the terrible reveal at the end, like to try to add something in there, and we're just saying, well, if you're gonna do that, is he just gonna be like, I can't do anything about this, I'm walking away? Nah, blow. He's turned the basic Hollywood revenge story, because that's all every one of them, every movie is like a basic. And the Westerns already have that in there, but you have to add this thing as, the brother.
We gotta have the twist. We gotta have the twist.
But you have to understand, if he's such a bad man and he kills everything around, why did he leave him alone? And that's the key thing, right? And so he comes back. It was to torture him, basically, at the very end. But I just wanted to get back to the point that, I'm tired of always hearing the guys, when they do, brothers are doing the films, that this film has to be the film to uplift and has to be perfect and has to hold on and be correct. No, it's a story.
I don't think anybody here said that, including me. I'm saying these guys have much more interesting stories,
but they're not doing that story. They're not doing that story. They're doing
that's not the point. That's not the point. If you got no, that's not the point. The whole idea is to do what? We're supposed to give the audience the best possible story. Their actual story is better than what they put there on the screen.
But this is his story that he's telling, whether you agree with it or not. This is his story. You may not like it because it's not historically accurate to you. But the question is,
I don't like it because it's not good.
Okay, well, that's a legitimate criticism. But bringing in the fact that whether or not it matches, it's a whole different story. One of my favorite films is Last Kingdom, right? And that's not historical. I mean, it's like, man, I read the whole Crusades just to make sure. Are they right? Hey, did Balian really do this? No, he didn't do it. Okay, he didn't freaking do it. All right. So, but he was great in his own way in what he did. But they wanted to use the name of that character. They wanted to make that character larger than life, right?
All right. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this again, okay? Because I don't want this to be misconstrued. Right? You have historical figures who have great stories of their own. Okay. Instead of using those stories, for instance, if you look at the story of Nat Love, you look at Deadwood Dick. This is a guy who was a cowboy, legitimate cowboy, fought with rustlers, was abducted, had to escape, nearly became a member of an Indian tribe. He's got a whole bunch of adventures that he has right over there. You are now telling me that what this guy did in actual life, which is more than an average person would actually do, no, we're going to scrap all of that to create this story out of whole cloth, where we're going to give him a brother that he never had, a girlfriend that he never had, relations that he never had, to bring this up over here. And then not only are we going to do that, but it's still going to be lacking in comparison to his actual story. And this is the stuff that I'm supposed to be supportive of. That's the issue that I'm taking with. You want to come and tell your story? Okay, do whatever you like. It's happened before. We've had Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. We know that Abraham Lincoln didn't go after any vampires. If it's entertaining, no problem. If it's not, then the question always remains, well, hey, how did this supersede the actual story that you could have had? You didn't have to create anything out of whole cloth. You could have used what you had here. And what's more, those guys have never had their stories told. They've never had any dramatizations of their actual living stories. This is the first time most of them are making it to the screen in any form or fashion, and it's fictional.
Okay, dude, but I'm going back to, I agree. I would love to see some of these stories played out, but this is the story that Jeymes Samuels wanted to tell. This is a story that interested in putting together a superhero group of these badass characters. And I think I found it entertaining. You know, I like the music. And again, a lot of people liked it too. So
Not all the music. I said that like the one with
well, not all
Brandon
of it.
Legally. That one, that was cool.
Yeah,
But everything else,
like,
I can't
not all the
co-sign.
songs, right? Not all the songs. I
I
like
can't
three,
co-sign
4 of the songs.
all of that.
3 or 4 of the songs. But I'm just saying that I just don't feel that this is what he wanted to say. If you want to make a story on Deadwood Dick, go for it. But don't put these guys. They should be able to make the films that they're interested in making. I agree. Like you said, Bass Reeves to me is one of my top characters, bro. I mean, just badass. And he's been shown in some other medias too. He's been incorporated in other shows. But just a full length series of Bass Reeves coming out would be off the chain, if you ask me.
So you were cool with you were cool with how they decided to render James Beckworth?
I'm okay. It's just a show. I'm not killing it. It's just
James Beckworth is a legendary quick draw, and he gets taken out because he's too busy showboating in this. And you're okay with that? That's the introduction for most people to James Beckworth. That he's he's too smart for his own good kid, who ends up not just shooting this dude and proving that he's faster, but he's going to come over here and arse around. That's it. That's the introduction that most people have to this guy. And this guy's a legendary quick draw of the Old West.
Again, you're putting this guy, once Jeymes Samuel has to hold up everybody's right. Yo, just have an entertaining film. Have a good time. If you have a good time, then that's good. It's going to get people. Hopefully, those young kids will go and say,
"Well, hey, I was not being general in that. I'm asking you directly. You were cool with that scene. You know James Beckworth.
Yes, and I'm cool with this scene. And I've read about a lot of these heroes. I'm okay. You know, I have no problem. Am I entertained? Okay. There, that's what I'm talking about. You know.
All right. So I guess we've covered it. We have
the right.
We have your opinion.
The right.
Cal that's totally destroyed it, and then you have me to saying, "Hey, you know, why don't you just use the original story?" I mean, I've said the same about the Revenant. You know, so it's like, I don't, you know, why try to add that stuff that they didn't need to do? And
why don't we say that about Gladiator? Why don't we say that about Cleopatra? Why don't we say that about Last Kingdom?
We do say that about that. We say that about even films like Hidalgo. We do say that.
Yeah.
We do say that. Oh, wait a minute. Are you trying to play the race card right now? That for some reason we're being more critical because this is this is a black production.
You didn't
is that what you're trying to? Is that what you're trying to say? Why don't we? What about this and what about that? We do that.
You didn't say that.
We've already commented on these types of stories and said, look,
right now I can't. I'm not being depicted in the proper light. I feel.
Did you say that? That was just say yes or no.
I do not recall saying.
All right, we're out of here. That's it.
Interact.
Out.
Out.